Let's talk about the stock that's getting hit the hardest now. PNB announced a very weak set of numbers. Gauri Shankar, the Executive Director of the bank, joins us to detail the numbers. Mr. Shankar, good afternoon. There's been big stress in your asset quality this time around with gross NPAs at 5.97%. Can you start by telling us, has the pace of fresh slippages accelerated for you? And what was the slippages number, the fresh slippages this quarter?
Well, the position which GNPA which stood at 5.65% as on 30th September 2014, as you have seen already, has gone up to the level of 5.97%. In fact, the recoveries during the quarter, total reduction has been to the tune of 4,085 crores, whereas the slippages during the quarter has been to the level of 5,545 crores. With the result, our NPA numbers have increased to the level of 22,211 as compared to 20,751 as at the start of this quarter. With the result, our NPA percentage, both gross as well as NNPA, has deteriorated. And some of the accounts we got slipped. And if you further want to know which sector they belong to,
yes, sir,
I can share with you. These are more about from the oil sector, from infra and cement. These were the positions.
Okay. Mr. Shankar, I just wanted to emphasize a little more about your slippages. You said your gross slippages were 5,545 crores. This compares to 3,616 crores in the previous quarter?
Yeah, previous quarter, total additions, previous quarter, that is in Q2, they were 3,874. That is Q2.
Okay. And
total additions I am talking about.
And you're talking about
similarly, total reductions. Yeah. Tell me.
Your recoveries were over 4,000 crores for the quarter, and hence that negated the stress on your gross slippages?
Exactly, you are right. I am talking of total reduction and total additions of the bank. See, during this quarter, the total reduction has been 4,085 crores as compared to Q2, they were 2,725 crores. With the result, because by about 1,600 crores, the more of, as compared to the difference between additions and slippages has been more. So with the result, we had to reach at the level of 22,211.
And these are your recoveries, upgrades and write-offs, or only recoveries?
This is the total of recoveries, write-off and upgradation, all three.
What was your fresh restructuring for the quarter, Mr. Shankar, this time round?
What is it?
Your fresh addition to restructured book.
Yeah, fresh addition to restructure this quarter has been to the tune of 2,196 crores. Another 300 crores, that amount got added because of the restructured which had taken place earlier. So total you can say about roughly 2,600 crores has been added during the quarter in restructuring book. Okay. And now our restructuring book stands at the level of 34,333 to be very exact, which forms 9.23% of the total loan book, and the GNPA is 5.97%. Thus, the status assets are about 15% of the total loan book.
Okay. Can you give us any indication of when PNB's NPLs will peak, and do you see a recovery in the NPL cycle getting delayed because of the the slow economic recovery and also the delay in the deleveraging process that we've seen with many companies?
See, at the moment what we feel is that the recovery situation is slightly improving. Why? Because the more amount of NPAs that have been declared, wherever it is possible, the NPAs, the moment they slip in the next quarter, the recovery has to be better. So what we anticipate that the recovery is going to be better, but let me tell you, the stress on various accounts still remains. And if you ask me about any kind of a guidance for the next quarter and next to next quarter, my reply will be that the next 2 quarters are going to feel same kind of a pinch, but definitely our emphasis on recovery and not letting the assets slip down to the NPA level are going to give us good results.
Okay. Mr. Shankar, what were your slippages from your restructured book? The latest data I had that for the first half it stood at around 3,000 crores. What was it in this quarter? Slippages from the restructured book?
Yeah, correct. See, I can tell you percentage wise, because that is the figure I have in my hand. Slippages out of September quarter restructuring, That is to say, last quarter, whatever restructuring took place, out of that only 3.55% has slipped. Similarly, if you talk about the upgradation out of the NPA restructured in September quarter, it is 3.97%. But at the same time, if you say during the complete time, how much of on an average you have been feeling as to how much gets slipped, it comes to about 10%. From the restructured assets which gets slipped.
So what is your guidance, sir, in terms of slippages possibly going into Q4 as well as fresh restructuring? And from which accounts can we see the stress come in for you in this coming quarter?
Well, names of the accounts I cannot share with you, but we definitely find some of the accounts. If you ask about the pipeline, I can foresee that there is a pipeline of a few hundreds of crores, say up to 500 to 700. Beyond that, I just can't share with you because I also don't have anything in my hand, and it's very difficult for us, for any banker, to predict as to what the position will be as on March 25th.
So that would be on restructuring or slippages? That would be on fresh restructuring or on slippages, the few hundred crores that you alluded to?
That is, fresh restructuring is, not known, but then there can be some slippages to the tune of, which are known to us, which can, because there some kind of stress we find in those accounts.
Okay.
Cannot be something very huge.
Sure. You did mention a while back that the next 2 quarters you will continue to see pressure. So should we expect further deterioration from this close to 6% gross NPA level, or will it be around these levels itself?
I would say you be positive, and let us also remain positive. Why? Because when we are going to recover, when we are declaring NPAs, we have to recover also. And we have to strengthen all our efforts on that only. See, our bank right now is working on just 3 things: CASA, number 2, NPA recovery, and credit dispensation. We have increased our credit at the pace of 11.1%, which we are slightly going to improve. And with the improvement in the economy, which can be foreseen by anyone at the moment, things are going to be definitely better so far as credit offtake is concerned.
Okay.
So the moment the credit offtake takes place, things are going to be better.
Okay. Fair enough, sir. We'll get your net interest margins because that improved this quarter to 3.21% versus 3.18% sequentially. Where do you expect your yield on advances to possibly settle at in the coming quarters based on whom you're lending to? And hence, what would your guidance on your net interest margins be? Can we see further improvement from current levels or maybe stagnation?
See, actually, the NIMs of our bank have always been hovering somewhere between 3.10 to 3.50. That's a very big I've given you. But the fact remains, if we are at 3.21, we are not going to deteriorate much further. See, my comments on NIMs are always like this. Any NIMs beyond 2.5% worldwide is considered to be excellent. Instead of keeping such accounts with us which give us good interest income, but at the same time the excellent AAA rated accounts which give us less, it is more important for us to go for AAA and AA and A rated accounts rather than stay put with those which give us more return. And this time you kindly appreciate the growth of 7,000 crores of credit which has taken place. Out of that, majority is for SME and retail. Our SME sector has increased by 28% and retail by about 20%. With the result, our NIMs have been maintained at this level, 3.21. My guidance, very clear guidance, will be somewhere between 3.20 to 3.30 we are going to stay put so far as NIMs are concerned.
Okay. Just one final question from my end then, Mr. Shankar. We've spoken a lot about asset quality, but even as far as top-line growth, core NII growth is concerned, that as well has slowed down substantially this time around to just 0.3%. What kind of growth should one expect in the next couple of quarters?
See, the growth will definitely be better. Why? Because the rates of interest on deposits we could reduce only recently. And the base of both, that is to say of deposits, is more, say about 450,000 crores of Indian rupees, whereas that of advances is about 370,000 crores of Indian rupees. So the difference between the two because of the base, and the deposits have increased by 15.1%, whereas the advances have increased by 11.1%. So hence not much of a growth with NII, but then we are aware of the fact, and the things are going to be better in that also. Then only we shall be able to improve upon our NIMs and remain at that level.
All right, Mr. Shankar, we leave it at that. Thanks for joining us.